Hey guys, welcome back. First of all, I just want to thank everyone who has shared their awesome ideas with me. You guys have truly helped me make this product much more powerful than it was before. I have taken as many ideas as I could, but I couldn't implement all of them because I still had to make sure that the scanner stayed fast enough, and I was afraid that if I added any more checks, then it might slow down the scanner quite a bit. Now you can also check out the main product page that I have right here. The final finished product is right here, and you can check out the complete guide in the product description. I have everything in detail right here. The product package, it will contain two indicators. One will be this consecutive candles indicator, and the second one will be the scanner dashboard. Both of these together will help you find the best possible trades. This is an MT4 only version. I haven't created the MT5 version just yet. When I do, I'll update the links in the video. Just be careful because the MT5 version will be a separate product. So only buy this if you want the MT4 version. First, I'll just talk about the scanner components and exactly what all of these filters do. If you want to dive into detail about how all of those are calculated, then just look through this product page and check out all the calculations here. So let's just go to the chart. Now scanner will contain all of these pairs and timeframes, and you can either define a custom pair list or you can use one of the presets that comes with it right here, core 7, core 14 or any of these other presets. If you want the market watch list, then you can also get that, but just be careful. If you want to make the scanner smaller, then just reduce the font size. And if your market watch has too many symbols, then the scanner might slow down quite a bit. So just be careful when using this option. Let me just go back to the Forex core 14, and the timeframes that I've selected are these, and I've kept the scanner at 2 columns so that it won't take up too much space and it will spread out quite a bit. Now you can define how many past bars it needs to check for consecutive bars. This is especially useful because it will use the historical data to calculate this reversal percent and these max historical streaks. So in 5000 bars, it will look through 500 total streaks and it will calculate this. Now let me just talk about each of these and then it will make much more sense. So this right here, this percent, it is the actual reversal percent for the particular streak. And this direction, it will show you that it detected a bullish or bearish streak. This is not the direction in which you should trade. So suppose it has detected a bearish streak, then the reversal signal will be a buy trade. And this number in the brackets, this shows how many bars back this particular streak was fully finished. And this shows how many bars long the streak actually was. Now, if you define a minimum consecutive bar of number 5, then it will look for at least 5 bars to make a completed streak. And a streak will end after the next bar is in the opposite direction. So for a bearish streak, if it finds a bullish bar, then it will end the streak and show you the number of bars here. And sometimes if it reaches 7 or 9 bars and after that a reversal happens, so it will show you that length of the total streak. Like right here, the reversal is 95% and the streak length is quite a bit. And it was a bullish streak that happened 31 bars ago. So let's just go to this one. So while a bar is still forming, it will not check that one. It will check the bar number before that, the bar number 1. So it will look for the whole streak and it will not count any of these doji bars. And after that, if it gets a bearish bar, then that signals the end of this streak. And all of these are filters. These will measure whether a streak, whether this trend has gone too far and price has become overextended. When that happens, the chances of reversal happening are that much greater. So it will look for volume exhaustion, ATR, RSI or CCI, those will show you the overbought, oversold conditions. Now the first one is the volume filter. It will check for volume exhaustion. To check that, you can either look for the very last bar in a streak, or you can take the volume average of the whole streak and compare that average with the look back number of bars. So let me show you what that means. Let's take something with a high volume exhaustion, maybe this one. Okay. So by default, it will look at the whole streak. It will take the volume of each of these candles and come up with an average, and then it will look 20 bars back and take the average of those volumes. Now, if this streak has become overextended, then it will show that this total volume, this was 3 times the average of the volume of the past. So the average of this was 3 times the average of the look back number of bars. So when that happens, the chances of reversal are that much greater. Let me show you the example which I already have on the website. That screenshot will make things much more clear. Right here. So in this example, it will look at the very last bar in the streak. So what happens is, if a streak is really long with a lot of bars with larger bodies, but the final bar, if you see that it has a very small body and yet the volume of just this bar alone is 2.7 times that of the volume of 20 bars back. In that case, it means that there is quite a lot of push and pull between buyers and sellers, and neither of them is winning. If you see a signal like that, that means that the price has become exhausted, so the chances of reversal are that much greater. So only use this check, the volume of last bar in streak, when you are looking for signals like this, where a lot of bars are there in the streak, but the very last bar has a small body and yet a really large volume. That is a very powerful signal for reversal. And next up, we have the ATR. So for finding this value, it will look at the ATR of a higher time frame. So by default, we have the daily ATR. Since the current day is still going on, it will look at the ATR of the past day, and it will check the ATR period for the current streak, and it will find the extension multiplier. And if the multiplier that it finds is more than this threshold, in that case, it will highlight that ATR. So let's just take an example where the ATR is highlighted right here. And as we can see that the streak has just happened, which is why right after you get an alert for a streak, you need to wait at least a few more bars to make sure that that streak is indeed finalized, because while the next bar is still forming, so if this bar closes right here down, in that case it will increase the number of bars in this streak, which is why we should not trade a signal immediately after that. We should wait for it to fully finish. Right here everything is highlighted, so let's take a look at that. And if you see that these labels are too close together, then just increase this label spacing. Actually, this happens because these labels, these are point based, and if you have a chart very close together like that, then the labels might overlap. So just open up your chart a bit. Okay, so right here we can see that the ATR in this streak has extended beyond this 1.05, and that's why it has highlighted. And right here, as you can see, all of these have highlighted quite a bit, and volume is also showing as overextended. But right after that, we get a bullish bar to show that the streak has ended. Right after this bullish bar, then be sure to have very close stop losses and keep your take profit at least twice as much, so that most of the time you will see profits and you will only have losses which are very small compared to your take profits. Right, so we were talking about ATR, and as you can see right here, this really long streak ATR is overextended by 1.23, and for very small streaks where price hasn't gone too far, you'll see that the ATR number is quite low. And after ATR, we also have this RSI. So for RSI, you have actually two options, RSI and CCI. So you can select either of those, and if you want to turn it off, just select none. So it will look for the period, this RSI of the very last bar in streak, and it will compare it to the overbought, oversold levels, and it will highlight the RSI only if it is overbought or oversold. And if you see something like this, the chances of reversal are quite high. RSI is overbought. So actually all of these filters, these pretty much do the similar thing of checking if a current trend is quite exhausted and the chances of reversal are quite high. Next up we have EMA. Now this one is a bit complicated, but it's really my favorite one. Now the EMA Stretch, this will check the look back number of bars, and it will find the moving average for those look back number of bars. Let's say your default look back is 500 bars. So it will look through those 500 bars and it will find when the market had extreme EMA. The default is 95 percentile. If our current streak's EMA is stretched even more than this, in that case, it will show you the multiplier. So something like, let me show you an example. Something like this, as you can see, EMA is 2.38 times. So when you see signals like this, where price has mostly stayed stable and all of a sudden price shoots out and it shows you that the EMA compared to the past bars, it has gone far quite a bit. Since the price has gone too far, the chances of reversal become that much higher. Let's look at another example where the EMA is stretched too far. Maybe this one. So as you can see, price has mostly stayed stable in a range, but then all of a sudden it shoots too far and it shows you that EMA is almost twice as much as it was in the past. So I know that it's a bit confusing, the whole 95 percentile thing, but you can set it in the settings. So this is the stretch. It will look for past 500 bars, and out of those bars, it will see how many of those had stretched, and it will compare our current streak with that percentile. And if our streak is more than 1.5 times that, then it will highlight that EMA signal. The product page, it explains all of these calculations in much more detail. So if you like, you could check it out. But most of the time, you will see that EMA is not highlighted. It only highlights in those extreme cases, like something like this. So after this, even though all of these are highlighted, price didn't really reverse. It went a bit further. So one more thing I just wanted to let you know, that sometimes in case of news events or something else going on in the market, these kinds of things can happen. So just be very careful when using any reversal based strategies during news events, because sometimes it might seem like reversal is quite near, but price still keeps going slightly more in that direction, because these kinds of jumps, they happen quite often during news events. So just be careful of that and keep very close stop losses. So like I said, all of these filters, these basically check if price has gone too far and price has jumped or dropped all of a sudden. In that case, it's almost like a rubber band where price goes too far and then it tries to come back to the mean, to the center of that EMA. The product page, it also has all the scanner symbols, what all of these mean and why they are important. And it also has some trading scenarios, like if you're trading short-term reversals, if you're trading swing trading on a higher time frame chart, then what are the best possible settings. And you'll also find a cheat sheet right over here. So you can use those to just optimize your settings based on your style of trading. Like if you're quick scalping, in that case you probably won't need all of these filters, but you can just set them to what you like, and you can also keep the alerts on and off. So basically, if you're just quick scalping and if you are only interested in reversal and maybe like a volume surge, if you want those really long swings on a higher time frame, in that case you might want to keep the EMA stretch on and everything like that. So just check out this cheat sheet if you end up buying the product. And I've tried to keep the dashboard and also the main indicator. I've tried to keep all the values as customizable as possible so that you can set your own thresholds and your own conditions and limits, so you can get the best possible signals based on your style of trading. And another thing, that sometimes if you get these gaps in the scanner, just take a look at the error logs. So you might get some errors in case if your history bars are not complete, then you might get some errors like that. Then you can just open up your history and check. This usually happens when you have a new MT4 installation. So just check it out. Or if these gaps have happened and you get any of these errors. And also for the main indicator, I've kept the debugging right here. So you can just see the debug values. You can debug the objects, or you can debug this smaller dashboard by setting all of that. Right here, you will get all the values in your debugs, and it will show you, like if you don't have enough bars to calculate, suppose the EMA stretch, then it will show you any of those errors and possible reasons why certain calculations are not working. So just go over this product page and let me know what you think. And I'm not sure if I'll add any more checks to this one because I don't want the scanner to get too heavy. But I really hope that you enjoy using this. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Happy trading, and thanks so much for watching. Thanks guys.